My wife demanded we move in with her parents and give them 80% of my salary. I refused. She served me divorce papers. I countered with receipts, recordings, and a great lawyer. She walked away with nothing, and I'm rebuilding my life stronger than ever. So this all started about 3 years ago. I met my wife, Jasmine, at a mutual friend's wedding. She was stunning, charismatic, and came from a big, close-knit family that seemed to love and support each other. I grew up mostly on my own, foster homes, bouncing around until I was 18, so her world seemed like the kind of place I'd always dreamed of belonging to. Jasmine worked as a freelance interior designer. I'm a systems engineer for a mid-sized tech company. We hit it off instantly. She made me laugh. She seemed fiercely independent and ambitious. After dating for about 18 months, I proposed. She said yes, and we got married in a small but elegant ceremony. The first year was great. We rented a nice 2-bedroom apartment in the city. I made about $120,000 a year, and Jasmine brought in about $30,000 from her freelance gigs. We weren't rich, but we were comfortable. I paid the rent and most of the bills, and Jasmine contributed what she could. But somewhere around our second anniversary, things started to change. Jasmine started talking a lot about her parents. At first, it was innocent. "My parents are getting older," she'd say. "They need help around the house." I didn't mind visiting them on weekends, helping with small repairs or taking them grocery shopping. Her dad, Walter, had a bum knee, and her mom, Sheila, was recovering from a surgery. I figured it was temporary, but the visits became more frequent. Jasmine would forget we had plans and drag me to her parents' place instead. They started asking me about my income, my benefits, my savings. Then Jasmine dropped the first bomb. "We should move in with my parents," she said one night while we were watching Netflix. "It just makes sense. They have a big house, you could save on rent, and I could spend more time with them." I blinked. "You want to move into your parents' house permanently?" "For a while, maybe a year or two." Now look, I'm not against helping family, but I'm a grown man. I spent my entire life trying to build independence. The idea of moving in with her parents didn't sit right with me, but I didn't want to be the bad guy, so I told her I'd think about it. That's when things started to unravel. 2 weeks later, she came home with a proposal written out on a freaking notepad. "I talked to my parents," she said, laying the paper on the table like it was a legal document. "If we move in, they're willing to let us stay rent-free. All they ask is that we contribute financially to the household." I picked up the paper. My jaw dropped. 80% of my salary was expected to go to her parents, to help maintain the house, pay off their mortgage, and contribute to household expenses. Jasmine had highlighted it. 80%. I laughed. At first, I thought she was joking. "Wait, you expect me to give your parents almost $8,000 a month? They've done so much for us," she said. "It's the least we can do." I was floored. "What about our future? What about savings? Kids? Retirement?" She waved it off. "They raised me. I owe them everything. And by extension, so do you." By extension? I was livid. I refused. Flat out. That night, she slept in the guest room. The next morning, Jasmine was cold, distant. No coffee like usual, no good morning kiss. She looked me dead in the eyes and said, "If you won't support my family, I can't be with you." It was a knife to the heart. I loved her, or at least the person I thought she was. But this version of Jasmine, this wasn't the woman I married. I told her, "If that's how you feel, maybe we both made a mistake." She packed a bag and left that night. The next day I got served. Divorce papers. No discussion, no counseling. Just done. But the thing is, I had a plan. You see, I may have grown up in the system, but I learned how to take care of myself. I learned to document everything. I'm careful, meticulous even. I had a feeling something like this could happen, so I had quietly been preparing for months. I saved every message. Jasmine's texts, emails, notes, everything where she discussed money, her parents' demands, her expectations. I recorded our conversations. In my state, it's a one-party consent state. Every time she started pushing the 80% plan, I had my phone recording in my pocket. I separated finances. Months ago, I opened a separate account and started shifting most of my paycheck into it. She thought I was making less due to tax adjustments. I hired a lawyer, a damn good one, someone who specializes in family law and financial abuse. When we got married, Jasmine didn't want a prenup. Fine, but she also never legally added her name to any of my investment accounts, retirement funds, or property.